Hello everyone, I am Hiba Nasser coming to you from the White House, and we have with us today Dr. Sebastian Gorka, Senior Director for Counterterrorism in the White House and Deputy Assistant to the President. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Dr. Gorka, I want to start with this trip to the President to the Middle East. On this trip, what do we expect in terms of deliverables beyond what was announced in the first 100 days?
So I'm not going to get out in front of what the president will announce on this historic trip, but I can put it into perspective, because I served in the first Trump administration, to what happened then and how we are going to the next level with this trip to the Middle East. If you remember the speech the president gave in the Middle East, talking to 52 Arab and Muslim nations 7 years ago, a historic speech. Back then, it was mostly about the threat of jihadism, of ISIS, the caliphate that we had been told by Obama is just a threat we have to get used to. The president rejected that idea. He said we're going to defeat the Salafist jihadis, and he wanted our Muslim and Arab partners to assist in that. As a result, we crushed the caliphate in just a matter of months, the ISIS caliphate in Syria and Iraq. And then began the incredible work of Jared Kushner, of the new ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, and the president to bring peace to the region with the Abraham Accords. So 8 years ago, it was about counterterrorism, it was about security, it was about a historic peace deal. Now we're going to the next level. President Trump is back. He is the deal maker of all deal makers. And we're still concerned with security. Of course, Syria is an issue, Gaza is an issue. But now we want to talk about economic growth. We want to talk about the ties between the incredible potential of the region and the US economy, especially in specific, very exciting areas, not just energy, but also artificial intelligence. So expect some very, very exciting deals to be signed when the president is in the Middle East again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gorka. I want to go back to the context of the difference between the two visits, but I want to stop on one thing you just said. You said that we expect many deals to be signed during this trip. But what's the message? What's the president's message? What it could be if an agreement on Gaza wasn't achieved? I'm asking about his message to the region, to the people of the region. What can be his message we are on Friday, and I believe every day matters here. Still, he didn't go. So what message can he deliver to the people of the region? Especially, he promised that he will achieve peace.
Well, two things, two overarching things. And whether it's Gaza or whether it's Ukraine, the president's number one priority, truly, as a human being, is to stop the bloodshed and to stop the killing and to make sure that the citizens of our friendly nations, our partners, our allies are safe. If you look at his dedication to bringing peace to Ukraine, that's his number one priority. The same goes for the Middle East. So number one, peace as soon as possible. Secondly, he's not a utopian. He lives in the real world. And also he has an America First policy, which isn't America alone, but it's America First, which means if you want to be our friend, if you're an ally, like in NATO, or if you're a partner, such as the nations of the Middle East, we expect you to take action to secure your neighborhood as well. In the first administration, we had a focus on partners doing more. And I can guarantee for you, as Senior Director of Counterterrorism, it is even more true today. If you want peace, if you want stability, don't expect America to do it all. Yes, we are the most powerful nation the world has ever seen, with capabilities other nations just dream of when it comes to military force and expertise. But if you're a friend of America's, then you should act like it. If you believe in peace, you should do something for peace as well. So if the concern is Gaza, we will expect the nations of the region to do something to help stabilize and rebuild Gaza. Don't always look to Washington to solve your problems. Yes, we lead the way. Yes, this is the most consequential president of the modern age. But other countries have a role to play as well. And this will be key to the president's discussions in the coming weeks.
I understand, but when it comes to Gaza, also you have Israel. Before discussing this, the president is visiting the Middle East and he is not visiting Israel. And it is his first trip. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? We saw many stories in the media about the possibility of going, the Israeli asking why he's not going to Israel. And I'll go back to your point regarding the Gaza ceasefire.
I don't understand why this is a question. Who was the first head of state to come to America after the inauguration?
I understand.
How many times has Bibi Netanyahu been here? He's been here multiple times in less than 100 days. So the president meets with Bibi whenever it's important to do so in the Oval Office, the most important room in the world. So the fact that he's not physically going to Jerusalem it's not a story. It's irrelevant. He's been in the Oval on multiple occasions in just the last 3 months. I don't understand why this is a question.
But Dr. Gorka, you know, the Israelis were trying to...
That's irrelevant as far as in terms of the significance. You have Bibi Netanyahu in the Oval Office multiple times in 3 months. I think that tells you everything you need to know about the relationship between Jerusalem and Washington.
Are you aligned with the Israeli when it comes to Gaza?
Am I aligned?
The U.S. administration?
Yeah, we're aligned with one thing. Never again must children be slaughtered, unarmed women. I watched the unedited video of the body cameras from Hamas, the unedited, where I saw young girls at that music concert hiding in a toilet, being slaughtered by machine gun fire from Hamas. I saw a young boy with his eye hanging out because Hamas had thrown a grenade into the shelter he was hiding with his father, and his father was killed. I saw all this on camera. This is October the 7th. Yes, we are fully aligned. As I said after I saw that video on a post that went viral, I sent a message back then as a private citizen to Prime Minister Netanyahu, to Israel and the IDF. Kill every single one of those people responsible for those events and anyone who is part of that organization. So yes, the biggest loss of Jewish life since the end of the Holocaust in 1945, we stand shoulder to shoulder with Israel in the extermination of terrorists, the slaughterers of women and children.
Dr. Gorka, the war has been going for almost now in October 2 years, and the president said he wants to stop what's happening in Gaza also, and the killing of the civilians. So my question here, you want to bring this war to an end. Are you aligned with the Israeli strategy when it comes on how to end this war and the day after in Gaza? This was my question.
Yeah, the strategy for Israel is for Israel to choose. What we are not aligned with is when Hamas uses civilians to protect their fighters. Why do they put arms storage facilities, headquarters, command and control facilities in schools, in hospitals? We are aligned with Israel's right to do what it needs to do to protect its women and its children and its citizens. We are not aligned with Hamas using innocent human beings as their shield. That's my answer.
I want to move to Iran. You mentioned the difference between the first Trump visit to the Middle East and the second Trump visit, which comes now. The context is different. Now you are conducting talks with the Iranians. Where are we standing now in terms of talks?
The talks continue, but what I can say publicly is nothing has changed in terms of the objectives we have set and what we demand from the murderous Islamo-fascist regime in Tehran. The president wrote a very clear letter to the supreme leader. You must fully dismantle your nuclear weapons capability, and you must stop arming and supporting your numerous proxies that are destabilizing the region. from Hamas to Hezbollah to the Houthis to all, Al-Shabaab included, anyone that you are supporting, you must stop now or there will be serious consequences to pay. That is the President of the United States. I'm not going to talk about what is happening behind closed doors in the negotiations. That is Mr. Witkoff, the President, the Vice President, and we're not going to disclose it. But the message is clear. Iran is on a deadline and they must comply because we will not allow Iran to acquire nuclear weapons.
You will not allow Iran, but you mentioned their support also to the proxies in the region.
Yes.
Is it a part of the talks?
Absolutely. It's a demand. Read the President's tweets. It's in every tweet he says. No nuclear weapons and no support to proxies. This is unclassified. This is in everything the President says.
What you are talking a little bit leaves me confused when you are talking, for example, about Hamas. We saw this interview, Special Envoy Witkoff, when he said Hamas is not ideologically locked. He met with them. He said that in his interview with Tucker Carlson. Also, when it comes to the talks with Iran, he's saying that the focus is the nuclear thing.
That's the primary one because that's the most dangerous. But it's two things. I mean, just read the President's tweets. He says both. Never acquire nuclear weapons and stop supporting the proxies. It's not me talking. It's not Mr. Witkoff. It's the Commander-in-Chief. It's the President. There is no confusion here. No support to proxies. None. No nuclear weapons.
Talking about what's happening in the region, I have to move to Syria. It is a main topic here in DC, and there are calls for Washington to ease the sanctions, at least, if you don't want to lift them. There are reports that you are opposing that, as Dr. Gorka. I want to understand first the U.S. administration position. What do we expect? What do you expect from Syria to lift the sanctions? Are you ready to deal with the current government in Damascus?
So I have never publicly or privately commented on sanctions. So that's fake news. I'll tell you what my experience is of jihadis, so Salaf jihadism, for the last 26 years that I have been studying it. I have never seen a jihadi leader become a Democrat when he wins. It's never happened. Since the dissolution of the caliphate by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk in 1924, and then the creation of the Ikhwan Muslimin 4 years later, I have never seen a jihadi, not Al-Qaeda, not Al-Nusra, no jihadi group, say, oh, we've won our battle, and now I love Jews, I love Christians, I love, Shia. Never happens. Sometimes when they are beaten, when they lose, they say, okay, maybe I'm not that much of a jihadi today. Jawlani won. This is the context, right?
Okay.
So he captures Damascus. And I'm supposed to believe that a former Al-Qaeda leader, the founder of Al-Nusra, suddenly is a normal politician who loves the minorities, who's not going to slaughter the Alawi, who's not going to kill the Christians and Jews. This is the context. So I walk into this with my eyes wide open, with an understanding of the history of jihadism. That's number one. Number two, I am nevertheless very happy that the murderous regime of Bashar al-Assad collapsed. I'm very happy that Iran, the biggest sponsor of terrorism, cannot use the territory of Syria to resupply its proxies. These are good things. I'm very happy with what Israel did in the south. I'm very happy with what the Kurds did in the north. But I walk into my analysis of HTS, I walk into my analysis of the regime in Damascus, understanding who is running the country and what its history is. What would I expect? I am not doing the negotiations. I am not Mr. Witkoff. I'm not the president. I would tell you what a good indicator for me would be that Jawlani has changed, okay? Imagine if a leading Kurd a famous Kurdish leader, were made part of the government, of the cabinet of Jolani. Imagine if a leading Druze was made the Minister of Education or the Minister of Culture. If you had a reflection of the various communities of Syria in the government in Damascus, in real jobs, not kind of, you know, president of this committee, real jobs, then I'd say, okay, maybe Jolani has changed. But I don't see that. I see on the opposite. I see foreign fighters from outside of Syria being given very senior positions in the Syrian government and being given Syrian passports. That makes me think, is he still a jihadi? I don't know. But I know one thing, we want to stabilize Syria, because the way that Syria goes could be the way the Middle East goes. The Middle East is full of different faith communities, different ethnic communities. So now is the test for whether this leader can bring those communities in, and we shall see. Nobody knows.
Okay.
Nobody knows.
This is news. So I understand that many in this administration are saying that he's under the test and you put out conditions, but coming from you, it is different. So you may deal with the government in Damascus. This is what you're saying, based on the outcome, based on what you are watching or expecting.
That's a decision for the president, for Secretary Rubio, who now is also the acting national security advisor. Nothing is, look, if we see potential for stabilization and for peace, of course we're interested. But we are realists and we go into this with our eyes wide open. That's all I'm saying. As Senior Director of Counterterrorism, I look at who these people are and what they've done in the past, and I look at the slaughter of the Alawi, 6 weeks ago? I look at the attacks on the Druze last weekend in Syria, and I think, how much has changed and how much has not changed?
Okay, got you. Again, but special...
I'm not going to tell you what the government is going to do. I'm going to tell you what our interests are. That's all I can tell you.
I got you. I'm just in my role. I'm trying to understand where you stand, because also these are, I'm not saying it's clear for me what you are saying, but when I listen to you and I listen to other officials in the administration, here I have to mention again Special Envoy Witkoff when he said Jolani has changed.
We'll see how much. I mean, look, he changed. He put a suit on, right? He wears a tie. How deep is the change is the question. Mr. Witkoff is right. He has changed. But we are trying to find out how much he has changed.
We'll follow up with you later on, because this will last with us. So just I'll go back to Iran, because the president put out a deadline for 60 days. 60 days is still the deadline. Either we have a deal or...
Correct.
Still.
And nothing's changed. If the president has made a statement to change it, then it changes. He has not.
Dr. Gorka, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.